Joining me now is Jon Levine. John, Harris has Biden's endorsement, but is she really who the Democrats want representing them in this election?
I guess we'll see. Obviously, all I can remember is her 2020 presidential campaign, where she famously was among the frontrunners and then dropped out in 2019 before a single vote was cast, and she was on her way to losing her home state of California. She didn't want to be humiliated there. And then when she's been vice president, I also can't help but notice how she's been bedeviled by staff turnover. It seems like every week there's a new chief of staff, a new spokesman. Contrast to Biden, who famously has had people for 20, 30, 40 years around him and inspires intense loyalty. So just what we've seen from an evidentiary standpoint, she doesn't have a lot of support within the Democratic Party. Now, obviously, she's been vice president. Obviously, President Biden has endorsed her. But as I think you've pointed out and some others have pointed out, President Obama has declined to endorse her. Nancy Pelosi has declined to endorse her. These are major Democratic power brokers. They're the people that just shoved Joe Biden off the race. So they're people who need to be taken seriously. And whether she is expecting a coronation, she wants a coronation. She's certainly hoping for a coronation. But I don't know that it's going to be as smooth a road as she's hoping.
Have you any idea who Harris might choose as a running mate?
Well, she's looking at a lot of governors. And I mean, there's the consensus in the party is more or less that, they need to pick sort of a white man to balance the ticket. And so you've got people like Andy Beshear in Kentucky. You've got Senator Mark Kelly in Arizona. You've got Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. And these are all states she has to win, that would be in play for her. And they're all very popular in their states. So those are all among the candidates she's considering.
I wonder if they would want to be her running mate.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, this is not an optimal situation for her. She's inheriting a catastrophe. And, a big question for me is, what does President Biden do when Kamala's on the campaign trail? Are they going to make that poor man go to the swing states and campaign for her and tell crowds of people that she's the best candidate?
That's a good question. Never thought of that.
2020 was the basement strategy. 2024 is the debasement strategy. What they're going to do to that poor man, it's sad.
Well, we don't know his true condition at the moment because he's not appeared on camera since late last week.
Right. Well, he's promised to speak to the American people about this week. So let's see if that happens.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a party, the Democrat Party, as divided and split as this one is? You've got Obama and Pelosi on one side with Schumer versus Biden and the Clintons on the other side. How on earth do you bring those two together?
Well, I haven't seen it, but some of your viewers who were around for 1968 probably can recall
I was
it
around.
with Lyndon Johnson. And no one went to Lyndon Johnson and said, you need to leave. But he saw the writing on the wall and said, I'm getting out of this race.
Before the convention.
Right. And 1968 was obviously a terribly divided convention in Chicago as well, I might add, the same place that convention's happening this time around. And they had Mayor Daley of Chicago to go in and protect them. They don't have Mayor Daley this time around. So it's going to be wild. And that's on top of all the Palestine-Gaza people who we know are going to be there as well. So there's going to be a lot of fireworks.
I've been asking all of our guests this morning, where were you and what were you doing when you found out that Biden was out?
I was having lunch at the Beach Cafe on the Upper East Side. And I actually didn't get an alert on my phone and choke on my food. It was the table next to me that was just like, ah! And we all turned and looked. It was like, Biden out! And then I sort of... Then everyone starts Googling, and it is what it is.
Within a couple of minutes, everybody who's got anything to do with politics knew what was going on right there.
Yeah.
Around the world.
The second she screamed, I just knew. I didn't even know what the scream was about, and I knew. Because they had been talking about maybe it'll happen Sunday, maybe it'll happen Monday. I knew.
Where were you and what were you doing when the attempted assassination of Donald Trump?
This is so embarrassing. I was actually having a nap. I was sleeping.
Okay.
Because I work early on Saturday, and so I was done, and I was napping, and I woke up, and I had like 500 messages.
You're an honest man, and you're all right.
I'm an honest man.
Jon Levine,
nothing else
thank
to
you
be.
very much indeed. Come back soon and wake up.